Bible in a Year Life Chronological Project, Week 34, Day 6, Amplified Bible. Daniel serves Darius. It seemed good to Darius, who became king after Belshazzar, to appoint over the kingdom 120 satraps who would be in charge throughout the kingdom, and over them 3 chief commissioners, of whom Daniel was one, that these satraps might be accountable to them, so that the king would have no loss from disloyalty or mismanagement. Then this Daniel, because of extraordinary spirit within him, began distinguishing himself among the commissioners and the satraps, and the king planned to appoint him over the entire realm. Then the other 2 commissioners and the satraps began trying to find a reason to bring a complaint against Daniel concerning the administration of the kingdom, but they could find no reason for an accusation or evidence of corruption, because he was faithful, a man of high moral character and personal integrity, and no negligence or corruption of any kind was found in him. Then these men said, "We will not find any basis for an accusation against this Daniel unless we find something against him in connection with the law of his God." Then these commissioners and satraps agreed to approach the king and said to him, "King Darius, live forever. All the commissioners of the kingdom, the prefects and the satraps, the counselors and the governors have consulted and agreed together that the king should establish a royal statute and enforce an injunction that anyone who petitions, prays to, any god or man besides you, O king, during the next 30 days shall be thrown into the den of lions. Now, O king, establish the injunction and sign the document so that it may not be changed, in accordance with the law of the Medes and the Persians, which ensures that it may not be altered or revoked." So King Darius signed the document, that is, the injunction. Now, when Daniel knew that the document was signed, he went into his house. Now, in his roof chamber, his windows were open towards Jerusalem. He continued to get down on his knees 3 times a day, praying and giving thanks before his God, as he had been doing previously. Then, by agreement, these men came together and found Daniel praying and making requests before his God. Then they approached and spoke before the king regarding his injunction. "Have you not signed an injunction that anyone who petitions, prays to, any god or man except you, O king, within the designated 30 days, is to be thrown into the den of lions?" The king answered, "The statement is true, in accordance with the law of the Medes and the Persians, which may not be altered or revoked." Then they answered and said before the king, "Daniel, who is one of the exiles from Judah, does not pay any attention to you, O king, or to the injunction which you have signed, but keeps praying to his God 3 times a day." Then, as soon as the king heard these words, he was deeply distressed over what he had done, and set his mind on rescuing Daniel. He struggled until the sun went down, trying to work out a way to save him. Then, by agreement, these same men came to the king and said, "Know, O king, that it is a law of the Medes and Persians that no injunction or statute which the king establishes may be altered or revoked." Daniel in the den of lions. Then the king gave a command, and Daniel was brought and thrown into the den of lions. The king said to Daniel, "May your God, whom you constantly serve, rescue you himself." A stone was brought and laid over the mouth of the den, and the king sealed it with his own signet ring and with the signet rings of his nobles, so that nothing would be changed concerning Daniel. Then the king returned to his palace and spent the night fasting, and no music or entertainment was brought before him, and he remained unable to sleep. Then the king arose at dawn, at the break of day, and hurried to the den of lions. When he had come near the den, he called out to Daniel with a troubled voice. The king said to Daniel, "O Daniel, servant of the living God, has your God, whom you constantly serve, been able to rescue you from the lions?" Then Daniel spoke to the king, "O king, live forever. My God has sent his angel and has shut the mouths of the lions, so that they have not hurt me, because I was found innocent before him, and also before you, O king. I have committed no crime." Then the king was greatly pleased and ordered that Daniel be taken out of the den. So Daniel was taken out of the den, and no injury whatsoever was found on him, because he believed and relied on and trusted in his God. The king then gave a command that those men who had maliciously accused Daniel were brought and thrown into the lions' den, they, their children, and their wives. And before they reached the bottom of the den, the lions overpowered them and crushed all their bones. Then Darius the king wrote to all the peoples, nations, and speakers of every language who were living in all the land, "May peace abound to you. I issue a decree that in all the dominion of my kingdom, men are to reverently fear and tremble before the God of Daniel. For he is the living God, enduring and steadfast forever. And his kingdom is one which will not be destroyed, and his dominion will be forever. He rescues and saves and performs signs and wonders in heaven and on earth. He who has rescued Daniel from the power of the lions. So this man, Daniel, prospered and enjoyed success in the reign of Darius and in the reign of Cyrus the Persian. Daniel's prayer for his people. In the first year of Darius, the son of Ahasuerus, of Median descent, who was made king over the realm of the Chaldeans, in the first year of his reign, I, Daniel, understood from the books of the number of years which, according to the word of the Lord to Jeremiah the prophet, was passed before the desolations which had been pronounced on Jerusalem would end, and it was 70 years. So I directed my attention to the Lord God to seek him by prayer and supplication, with fasting, sackcloth, and ashes. I prayed to the Lord my God and confessed and said, O God, the great and awesome God, who keeps his covenant and extends loving kindness towards those who love him and keep his commandments, we have sinned and committed wrong, and have behaved wickedly and have rebelled, turning away from your commandments and ordinances. Further, we have not listened to and heeded your servants, the prophets, who spoke in your name to our kings, our princes, and our fathers, and to all the people of the land. Righteousness belongs to you, O Lord, but to us confusion and open shame, as it is this day, to the men of Judah, to the inhabitants of Jerusalem, to all Israel, those who are nearby and those who are far away, in all the countries to which you have driven them, because of the treacherous acts of unfaithfulness which they have committed against you. O Lord, to us belong confusion and open shame, to our kings, to our princes, and to our fathers, because we have sinned against you. To the Lord our God belong mercy and loving kindness and forgiveness, for we have rebelled against him, and we have not obeyed the voice of the Lord our God by walking in his laws which he set before us through his servants the prophets. Yes, all Israel has transgressed your law, even turning aside, not obeying your voice. So the curse has been poured out on us, and the oath which is written in the law of Moses the servant of God, because we have sinned against him. And he has carried out completely his threatening words which he had spoken against us and against our rulers, the kings, princes, and judges, who ruled us, to bring on us a great tragedy. For under the whole heaven there has not been done anything so dreadful like that which he commanded and was done to Jerusalem. Just as it is written in the law of Moses, all this tragedy has come on us. Yet we have not wholeheartedly begged for forgiveness and sought the favor of the Lord our God, by turning from our wickedness and paying attention to and placing value in his truth. Therefore, the Lord has kept the tragedy ready and has brought it on us. For the Lord our God is uncompromisingly righteous and openly just in all his works, which he does. He keeps his word, and we have not obeyed his voice. And now, O Lord our God, who brought your people out of the land of Egypt with a mighty hand, and who made for yourself a name as it is today, we have sinned, we have been wicked. O Lord, in accordance with all your righteous and just acts, please let your anger and your wrath turn away from your city Jerusalem, your holy mountain. Because of our sins and the wickedness of our fathers, Jerusalem and your people have become an object of scorn and a contemptuous byword to all who are around us. Now therefore, our God, listen to, heed the prayer of your servant Daniel and his supplications, and for your own sake let your face shine on your desolate sanctuary. O my God, incline your ear and hear, open your eyes and look at our desolations and the city which is called by your name. For we are not presenting our supplications before you because of our merits and righteousness, but because of your great mercy and compassion. O Lord, hear. O Lord, forgive. O Lord, listen and take action. Do not delay for your own sake, O my God, because your city and your people are called by your name. Gabriel brings an answer. While I was still speaking and praying and confessing my sin and the sin of my people Israel and presenting my supplication before the Lord my God in behalf of the holy mountain of my God, while I was still speaking in prayer and extremely exhausted, the man Gabriel, whom I had seen in the earlier vision, came to me about the time of the evening sacrifice. He instructed me and he talked with me and said, O Daniel, I have now come to give you insight and wisdom and understanding. At the beginning of your supplications, the command to give you an answer was issued, and I have come to tell you, for you are highly regarded and greatly beloved. Therefore, consider the message and begin to understand the meaning of the vision. 70 weeks and the Messiah. 70 weeks of years, or 490 years, have been decreed for your people and for your holy city Jerusalem, to finish the transgression, to make an end of sins, to make atonement, reconciliation for wickedness, to bring in everlasting righteousness, right standing with God, to seal up vision and prophecy and prophets, and to anoint the most holy place. So you are to know and understand that from the issuance of the command to restore and rebuild Jerusalem until the coming of the Messiah, the Anointed One, the Prince, there will be 7 weeks of years and 62 weeks of years. It will be built again with a city, plaza, and moat, even in times of trouble. Then, after the 62 weeks of years, the Anointed One will be cut off and denied his messianic kingdom and have nothing and no one to defend him. And the people of the other prince who is to come will destroy the city and the sanctuary. Its end will come with a flood. Even to the end there will be war. Desolations are determined. And he will enter into a binding and irrevocable covenant with the many for 1 week, 7 years. And in the middle of the week, he will stop the sacrifice and grain offering for the remaining 3.5 years. And on the wings of abomination will come one who makes desolate, even until the complete destruction, one that is decreed, is poured out on the one who causes the horror. Cyrus permits return. Now in the first year of Cyrus, king of Persia, in order to fulfill the word of the Lord by the mouth of Jeremiah, the Lord stirred up the spirits of Cyrus, king of Persia, so that he sent a proclamation throughout his kingdom and also put it in writing, saying, Thus says Cyrus, king of Persia, the Lord, the God of heaven, has given me all the kingdoms of the earth, and he has appointed me to build him a house in Jerusalem, which is in Judah. Whoever there is among you of all his people, may the Lord his God be with him, and let him go up to Jerusalem. Proclamation of Cyrus. Now in the first year of Cyrus, king of Persia, that is the first year he ruled Babylon, in order to fulfill the word of the Lord by the mouth of Jeremiah the prophet, the Lord stirred up, put in motion, the spirits of Cyrus, king of Persia, so that he sent a proclamation throughout all his kingdom, and also put it in writing, saying, Thus says Cyrus, king of Persia, the Lord, the God of heaven, has given me all the kingdoms of the earth, and he has appointed me to build him a house at Jerusalem, which is in Judea. Whoever there is among you of all his people, may his God be with him. Let him go up to Jerusalem, which is in Judah, and rebuild the house of the Lord, the God of Israel. He is God who is in Jerusalem. In any place where a survivor, Jewish exile, may live, let the men, Gentiles, of that place support him with silver and gold, with goods and cattle, together with free will offerings for the house of God in Jerusalem. Holy articles restored. Then the heads of the fathers' households of Judah and Benjamin, and the priests and Levites, all those whose spirits God had stirred up, arose to go up and rebuild the house of the Lord which is in Jerusalem. All those who were around them encouraged them with articles of silver, with gold, with goods, with cattle, and with valuable things, in addition to all that was given as free will offering. Also, King Cyrus brought out the articles of the house of the Lord, which Nebuchadnezzar had carried away from Jerusalem when he captured that city, and had put in the house of his gods. And Cyrus, king of Persia, had Mithredath, the treasurer, bring them out, and he counted them out to Sheshbazzar, the governor leader of Judah. And they counted 30 dishes, basins of gold, 1,000 dishes of silver, 29 duplicates, 30 small gold bowls, 410 small silver bowls of a second kind, and 1,000 other articles. All the articles of gold and of silver totaled 5,400. All these the Sheshbazzar, the governor, brought up with the exiles who went from Babylon up to Jerusalem. The descendants of Jehoiachin, Jeconiah the prisoner, Shealtiel his son, Malchiram, Pedadiah, Shenazar, Jechamiah, Hoshama, and Nedabiah, the sons of Pedaiah, Zerubbabel and Shimei, the sons of Zerubbabel, Meshullam and Hananiah, and Shelomith was their sister.